Okay, so this is my main working altar space. This is, basically where I sit. Well, I sit at it every day for like long periods of time. Just because it's here and I'm not going to move it or take it down. The only reason I'm gonna take the only reason I would ever take this altar down is when I move to like an actual house. That's the that's the only time it will, be taken fully down. Now, some of the elements of the altar might change over time as I grow in my magical practice, in my, witchcraft. But this is basically where I basically sit at this every day. Now, I may not be facing this, way every single day, like 24 hours a day, but at least I sit near it just because I like the vibes that it, reminds me of and it gives off. Like, maybe not like in a physical sense, but like just mentally, it's like a lot of things that I'm, working with right now, and a lot of the bigger stuff that's like, represents my personality. All right, so I'm gonna get in closer so you can see a little bit better, and I'm gonna, then it'll be like a jump cut, so then it's not like me zooming in. Oh, I never said it was part three. Oh, I never said it was part three. Hey guys, this is part three of my altar tours, if you can tell. All right, so I work with two primary deities, and well, I work with a lot of deities actually, which there are some people that can manage that. Some people like to work with only one deity or across one only with one pantheon of deities. When I started I was eclectic. I'm still a little bit eclectic. Well, I am eclectic, but I'm also I've also got a pretty much a solid grasp on who I'm working with right now, and I'm building the relationship with deity right now. And I don't know if I said this in another video, but I will link a video down below from a different creator of explaining how she works with deity as a pantheist, because I don't have all the necessary words to explain it myself, and I think she explains it very well. So I'll link one of her videos down below as a creator. I don't know her, but she's one of the creators I watch for inspiration, and she's been, a witch for a long time. So she has a good grasp on, working with deity as a pantheist. I would also say I'm a pantheist as well. A pantheist. Yeah, pantheist. So, there's that. Alright, so I said I was going to move closer, but here, I'll move a little bit closer. So we're going to start on this side. So basically, I have, basically three big statues. Big statues. Because it's right in front of the window, like it's a lot of backlighting. So you're not going to get a good idea of how she looks. But I work between the Greco-Roman pantheons, the Egyptian pantheon, and the Irish Celtic pantheon. Those are my primary pantheons that I'm working with, besides my own pop pantheon as well. But in my Celtic corner right here, this is basically my Morgan. So the Morgan is a battle goddess in the Irish Celtic pantheon. And I think it's also important to say that in Irish tradition, battle is not necessarily what we as Americans or as, I'm pretty in like a colonistic society, that's not what we have a different sense of what battle is. Their battles are more defensive, and with my own sort of personal life, I, working with a personified deity of battle, but also defensive battles, that's why I'm working with her. That's one of my primary reasons that I work with the Morgan as one of my deities that I work with. So it's more defensive when it comes to battle. Most of the time, I'm fine with people, and even with people that are like kind of just assholes. Like I can let things go, and I might talk shit about them for a very long time, but for the most part, I let things go for the smaller stuff, smaller insignificant stuff, and stuff like that. So moving on, we have a crow here, and we have a pop vinyl figure of Maleficent. But the crow used to be what I was using in place of that giant statue to represent the Morgan. Now that I have this statue, this crow has just been moved over, and he's like a messenger. He's basically a messenger between Maleficent, because Maleficent, works with Diabol and her crow. And when I say Maleficent, I'm not talking about Sleeping Beauty's Maleficent. I'm talking about the live version. Yeah, what's it called? Where they have like real actresses, not like animated. Whatever that is, that Maleficent, where it's more fleshed out, and she's not just an evil figure. She's a well-rounded. She's a more human. More human, yeah. It's someone you can really connect with, I guess. A well-rounded, human-centered, moral character. I don't know. More fleshed out. Let's say that. Fleshed out. So, the Morgan and... Okay. So... The crow was... It's basically, because the Morgan works with crows, and crows are crows and ravens are some of her many messengers. That's why I have the crow here. But also, the crow can be, like a messenger from Maleficent as well. Now, do I think Maleficent obviously doesn't exist. But as a pop pantheon character, she exists in that aspect, and she, just helps me, keep in touch with that inner... It keeps me in touch with, magic itself. Like summoning up that, power. That sounds dumb. There's no better way of saying it. But that. This is... Okay. Basically, we just have some stones here. They're offerings. Because I like them, and I thought maybe, hey, the Morgan might like these looking stones. That's a ceramic skull. Because, the Morgan is a battle goddess. One of the aspects of battle is death. And skulls, and, it makes sense. So it's just a ceramic skull as an offering as well. Like, I don't use it for anything. It's just there. As that aspect. As an offering, basically. That's basically a Shungai owl carving. I got that when I first went to my first metaphysical shop. And I was using it to, as a representation of Athena. But I don't really work with Athena that much. I don't really work with her that much. But I do see a lot of similarities between myself and Athena. And the way she operates. And how she takes in information. So in a way, I kind of work with her. I just don't, use her name as much and say that I'm working with her. But I guess I work with her just a little bit, or at least a little bit of the aspect of myself. If I was actually going to choose to work with her as a personified being. That is Tiger Iron, which is basically red jasper, hematite, and it's 3 tiger's eye. So it's basically just that crystal. All right, I'll talk about the crystals in a later video, I guess. But basically, these are some of the crystals that she wanted to be in her bowl. Sekhmet has her own bowl, and when I say she wanted, I'm saying that when I was sorting my crystals out and, basically, I basically asked them which ones they wanted, and, through intuition, that's basically how it led to the separation of these different crystals that I had, or the collection of my crystals. I have some more over there in my other space that I'm not going to talk about right now. It's really boring stuff right over there. It's basically all the stuff I use in spellcrafting. So, herbs, crystals, or some of the crystals. I mainly use these crystals because, they're on my working altar and they're the main ones I use. If I'm doing spellcraft, I don't do a lot of spellcrafting. The only really spells that I'm using or at use in my everyday life is cleansing and protecting. That's basically it. So basically, every time I wear those are like me actively, they're basically charged with the intention of protection and keeping my connection with my spirits. The triquetra is, basically my connection with spirits and connection with my family, and the Eye of Ra, which is a newer pendant that I got, and I wear that as a protection. Wear that for protection. This is just like a resin piece. It's a necklace that I wear sometimes, probably not just anymore, but I'll still wear it. It's a resin piece of red jasper, lapis lazuli, and aquamarine. So I would wear this probably at work because I can pull the string really tight and make it into like a choker. So there's that. This is literally okay. I have an amethyst cluster. That is a dragon stone spear. So I would go into Dragonstone, but I need to read up on Dragonstone again to really give you proper information. So there's that. This is literally just like a little charging station. As my satin spar or selenite tower. This is basically satin spar, that tower right there. A clear quartz point. Oh, and it's a charging station and a cleansing station. So basically anything that I would probably use on the daily is gonna go right here. So clear quartz, and then this is a raw piece, I guess. Black tourmaline. Alright, so I think I've covered everything here. Oh, that stone right there, that is labradorite, so, and I associate labradorite with magic, and its metaphysical properties are, attuned to, that sort of working. So that's why it's right in front of Maleficent. So Maleficent is like a fairy, but I don't work with the Fae as well. I only work with Pop Pantheon. What is that? Oh my god. Okay, that's wax. I literally just noticed that. Okay, well, that's wax. That's nothing else. It's literally just wax from a candle that I was trying to, melt and anchor to like a plate. All right. So this is literally okay. Well, it's literally I think it's a hydra. It's supposed to be like a depiction of a hydra, but it also has wings on the back, so it's not a totally accurate depiction of what a hydra is, even though it's a mythological creature. But this is basically my hydra. And then down here we have my fire dragon and my lion and tiger. So, just like in my, part 2, lions and tigers are, very important to me. Being a Leo, I don't work with astrology, but I do like, the association with Leos and their association, and I am a Leo myself. But I was also born in 1998, and on the Chinese zodiac, which is, a different astrological sign, I guess. Well, I don't know. It's different astrological timing. But lions, tigers, and dragons are, some of my more formative years, which is basically a few years ago, up until now, is what I was, channeling and, using. So I keep them on my altar. And these are just, reminding me that, hey, you know what? If you want something, go for it. Or if someone's, messing with you, stand up for yourself. Don't just let them get away with shit. Like, you have that sort of beast within you. And unfortunately for Daryl and Gitaman, they kind of awoken that beast within me, and not only am I gonna continue to, talk shit about them, my everyday life with people around me, when they come up in conversation, but they kind of awoken that, sort of beast, because I wasn't always this fiery. I wasn't always a magical practitioner. But since, they decided to, mess with me and the people I care about, now they kind of awoken that beast. They opened that box, and this is what came out. Okay, so this little eagle, all of these this is basically plastic. That's, I have no idea what that's made out of. I think it's resin, I guess. Plastic, it doesn't matter. They're all, they're just here for the symbolism of it. My crystals that I will use in spell working. But, everything else is plastic. This is resin. I guess you don't really care what they're made out of, but it doesn't matter. It's more about the imagery rather than the actual material it's made out of. At least for me. A lot of people work with natural elements. I do too. I work with herbs, and I work with crystals. I work with a lot of natural elements within my spellcraft. But these are basically just, the symbolism is what's most important. Alright, sorry. I got off on a tangent, but this eagle here is from the same, in part 1, they were in the same pack with the cardinal. And the eagle is just here because eagles represent nobility, leadership, protection, and they're the apex predator of the sky. Beside the mythological dragon. But eagles are, they're one of our apex predators of the sky, which is why I like it. This is a relatively new incorporation into the altar space. So that's why I like the eagle. And it also reminds me of one of my favorite runes from my rune set. So that's why I have it here. This is basically ceramic. Basically ceramic, I think. Yeah, ceramic with I placed on top of it black tourmaline and a clear quartz point. But it's basically just housing my rings, some of my pendants, some crystal chips and stuff like that I'm not working with right now. But if I wanted to, I could take one of those things out and I could wear it in just like everyday life, or if I, wanting to, connect more with maybe Sekhmet, or if I wanted to work with the Greco-Roman Mars or Ares, is his counterpart. And that's just here to, absorb any negative energy and absorb, just anything like that. And then the crystal here is basically, keeping things energized. It feels weird to say energized because I sound ridiculous. But if people are into it, then you're into it. I don't like how we're wording it, though. There has to be a better way of wording things. This is literally just a pocket knife, which I put on the altar because, one, I like knives, and a friend gifted it to me. That's the second reason. The same person who gave me this and some of the other elements on my altar. And because, so it's basically just there as that reminder. Plus it's a knife. Who doesn't need more knives in their life? Well, there's someone out there who doesn't need more knives. But I like knives. I like blades. When I say weapons, I mean like bladed weapons, flails, those kinds of weapons, not guns. Not really into guns. I mean, I'm fine with guns. I'm fine around guns, but they just don't call to me. I like knives. So, okay, we're gonna move up here to Sekhmet. I'll go down, back to the bear. But, okay, you can barely see shit because the sun. Okay, but this is basically the Egyptian goddess Sekhmet the Egyptian goddess Sekhmet, and she's a very protective goddess. She's very protective of leaders, the pharaohs, and I work with her just as a protective figure, but also, to just remind me that I have that fierce lion within me as well. Like, I'm not just I'm not someone to be pushed around anymore. And if you come for me or my family, well, okay, see, there's gonna be a problem. And I'm gonna tear you apart. Probably with my words, maybe with spellcraft. And if you throw the first punch, you're gonna get punched. Back. Punch back. Yeah. This is just another tiger iron point. I kind of wish these were bigger, but, the website that I got them from was not very clear on the sizing. Maybe I'll find something in a different metaphysical store that's a little bigger. But they're just here. I like them though. This is a bear sculpture. Same friend gifted this to me. And bears are, if you think of a mother bear, they're very protective of their young. Now, I don't identify as a woman, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to identify as a woman to work with feminine energy and fierce feminine energy of being protective. It doesn't matter. But that's just what this reminds me of. Now, I keep this by here. It was originally just supposed to be, for me and an element for me. But I think I'm going to, maybe associate more with Sekhmet and that protection or protective figure, and to be more protective of my family. So that's where I'm, going with it. Alright, and these are some of the crystals on top. These are some of the crystals that Sekhmet picked out during their deal. These are literally just stones. That's it. And because of their coloration, I associate them with the desert, where Sekhmet would, the Egyptian desert, where she would be found if she that was my finger again. And some crystal slices. No idea what they are. I keep them here as an offering for Sekhmet. Now, this blade has no magical purpose whatsoever. It's not an offering. It's nothing, basically. It's basically here. It has no magical significance in my life. It's basically here as physical protection. That's it. So, if anyone were to break in the middle of the night when I was still awake, when I was still awake, I could, I have this knife here. It's a smaller hunting knife, but it's still a hunting knife. Yeah, okay, so over here we have the leopard, and then over here we have the jaguar. So, leopards and jaguars, there's a lot of research that goes on, but, a lot of stuff I don't remember, and I have my own associations. But, because I work with a lot of animal symbolism, okay, so I know there are male leopards. I get it. I know that. But because typically what we associate with the masculine, we associate bigger, broader, meatier creatures. Those are kind of what we associate with, masculine energy and masculine, beings. That's kind of what that's why they're separated. So here we have a divine feminine and a divine masculine, or the masculine energy and the feminine energy. That's kind of why I have them here. That's my reason of keeping them on the ultra space. Actually, the jaguar, a little side story, but at one point I, switched up the altar, and I put the jaguar near the knife, and I put the leopard near the Morgan, and it was so weird because the first night I did that, it felt like there was something in here with me. I knew no one was in here. Nothing was wrong. But it just felt like something was, right there. That was, ready to just tear me apart. And just, that predatory energy. But I knew I was fine. Because no one was going to come in. And I would have killed anyone if they did. But I ignored it, and I went to bed, and nothing really came of it. But for I had them on here for a few days, and every time I got up on my bed and I was going to plug in my chargers for my laptop or my phone, every time I plugged them in, he would fall off. He would just my pants would get caught on his ear or something and just fall off. So I took that as a sign of saying, okay, well, you're not gonna listen to me when I'm telling you, hey, I don't like it over here, and put me back. So I'm just gonna keep falling off. So basically what I'm getting at was, listen to your guides, listen to, the things you have on your altar. If you have that kind of relationship, listen to them, because even though they are plastic, they still have, significance. Like, maybe, like, something in the cosmos was saying, hey, you know what? Not right there. Put him back. He likes it over here. He doesn't like it over here. Now, ever since I moved the Jaguar back to that side, nothing has happened with the leopard. So, take of that story of what you will. I could sound completely crazy, but, there's that. Oh, and basically, these candle holders with the tea lights in them, those are invocation candles. I don't light them every night, and I don't light them every day. I only light them when I trying to invoke their energy, trying to get the Morgan and Sekhmet to, pay attention. Well, that sounds like a teacher scolding a child, or a parent scolding a child, but to, get their attention, like, I'm, like, talking. Yes, they're omnipresent beings in their own right. Even though I'm not a polytheist, and I work with them mostly archetypally, but in, like, spellcraft, and if I'm invoking their energies, invoking their, concepts, that's why I would light those candles. And I use tea lights because there are a lot of practitioners will use, like, bigger candles. I use tea lights because I don't do a lot of workings or anything like that, and tea lights burn down really fast. Although these tea lights that I have, they burn down a little bit slower than the ones you get at the dollar store. So keep that in mind. If you are using tea lights from certain stores, cheaper quality obviously burns down faster than better quality tea lights. So that's basically it. Alright. So I think that's all my altars. Okay, so over here, real quick, we have my other, this is a part of, this one is basically a part of, it's connected to my main altar. So these are my tarot cards and my oracle cards that I have right now. I'm gonna do this really fast because I don't want to keep, again, this is gonna be the longest one, but I have my tarot cards and stuff like that. I have just a random stone that I like, and it's basically just chilling up there, charging up my cards. It's not a crystal, it's literally a stone. But stones hold power in their own right. Like everything in the earth holds a certain vibration. Sorry about that. That's my rune sets. A Skylander from the Giants, so it's from the second one. It's from the second, game that came out in the same series of games. This is a ceramic crow head. When I bought it, I thought it was originally going to be smaller and something I could put on my main altar, or the one I just showed you. And it wasn't, so, I had to find a place for it, and this is where I found it. This is a place I literally switched things up just so I can find a place to put this thing. Because I wasn't going to send it back, because, that's too much. Eagles and owls are messengers of spirits and gods and ancestors, so that's why they're here. Keys, because while I don't work with Hecate, keys are sacred, and she's a goddess of divination. So is the Morgan. But, I use keys I just have them here for that divination. The Phoenix, I moved down from the familial altar to here because just the invocations of the ever-changing aspect of, the messages that I'm getting through, I guess. Sorry, my voice is going, but I've been talking. The horses represent freedom. If you saw my last video, where I talked about the Divine Animal Oracle cards, horses, freedom, and I get a lot of, where I experience the most freedom is through my practice, so that's why I have this horse here. I got this actually when I was back in school for a project, but, that's a different story, and a longer story that I'm not going to tell here. Alright, so this is basically just a proverb from the Bible. I don't like the Bible as a book. It's hard to read, it's too long, and it's a collection of stories and letters. And I'm okay with other people trying to read the Bible. The only time I don't like the Bible is when people are using it to justify being bigots. So, but I do like this painting. I did not paint this. I got it from the charity shop, and someone, got rid of it, and you know what? It has a new life on my altar space. So, and I like lions, and I think this, this drawing of this painting, I think the artist did a really good job. So, there's that. Alright, so I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to show you right now. Now, some of these elements might change. Well, elements of my altars will probably change over time as I grow and learn things. But there will be some elements that will, a lot of elements will probably stay the same. So, there's that. And if any major changes come up, I'll probably do more altar tours just to let you in, just to let you guys know that, hey, you know what? These are some of the changes in my life. So, alright, so I'm gonna, stop right here. And I'm gonna say goodbye for now. Because all of these videos are really long, and I don't want to keep editing all night. I'm not going to edit tonight, but I'm going to edit this weekend. So, goodbye.